This The Sex That Got Away story is Billy, the TV star and singer. In 2003, when I moved to Los Angeles, White Lotus was the hottest club. You could stand in line for a long time and still not get in, or you could make dinner reservations and be in, guaranteed. When we discovered the latter, my friends and I would go regularly. Pretty early on, the club's popularity was not what drew me there every weekend. I had grown close to the DJ. He and I became each other's post-club Saturday night hookup, and eventually he would get my friends and me in at 9 p.m. The bouncers knew we were coming, they would just let us in. We went to White Lotus every Saturday night. For the first hour, from 9 to 10, he would play music we both loved and discussed when we were together. Stuff you wouldn't play at a regular LA nightclub. Ms. Fat Booty, Mary J. Blige, I Love You. 702's I Still Love You. High Tech's Round and Round, NERD's Run to the Sun. Just music we vibed on. One night, he played an entire list of songs that I'd woven into a letter I had sent him. How could I not be crazy about this guy? It was about the music. For months, I would arrive at White Lotus at 9 p.m. and dance nonstop until closing time. It wasn't uncommon that first hour I'd be on the dance floor solo until the club started to get packed and the DJ started playing more popular West Coast club hits. Once it got packed, there was a stage on which my friends and I would dance. When we were there, the stage was mostly ours for the night, and of course other women would come up too. And one night, I got one of the big 5 supermodels and her friend to leave their husbands on the dance floor and join me and my friends up on the stage to dance. White Lotus was a time. So on this night, I decided to wear a dress. It was a black backless halter. I never wore dresses to the club, but I felt extra sexy in this dress. I had a few drinks in me, so I was feeling pretty good. My good friends Sherry, Aubrey, Kristen, and I were dancing on stage when Sherry noticed 2 men looking up at us. She pointed them out. They were staring like we were strippers at the strip club. They were admiring us. It was strange and intriguing at the same time. The guy below me was really attractive. He was making "I am crazy about you" eye contact with me. But I dismissed it because I was there for my DJ, and I was dancing for him. When I came down from the stage, he came up to me and introduced himself as Billy. He offered to buy me a drink. One thing I never did was talk to other guys or dance with them in front of the DJ. He had gotten jealous once, and I didn't want it to happen again. I politely declined, but I told him that he looked really familiar. Meanwhile, Sherry was talking it up with Billy's friend Brian. As the night continued, Sherry and I continued dancing on the stage. The guys continued to be entertained by us from below. At the end of the night, Sherry told me that we were all invited back to Billy's house. Of course, I was hoping to get an invitation back to the DJ's house. Standing in the lobby of the club while waiting for everyone, Billy and I continued talking. I couldn't shake how familiar he felt. Since I was pretty buzzing, I kept telling him, very obnoxiously, that I knew him from somewhere. Normally, under sober conditions, I would never be such a groupie, even in a celebrity-filled Los Angeles club. But he politely smiled. He stood there looking very handsome, making intense eye contact, the way only piercing blue eyes can. I could tell he was shy and modest. He didn't boast or tell me who he was. He just let me go on telling him how familiar he was. Then I started remembering details like when elements from a dream you've forgotten slowly start to resurface out of the blue throughout the day. I remembered a guitar and singing, and it was on TV, and he was singing with another woman. That's when he saved me from myself and told me the name of the TV movie starring him and another popular singer. They made music together. That's right. I told him I loved that movie. And at the time, I wasn't aware of the other bigger productions that he'd starred in. I didn't get an invite back to the DJ's place, which was common. He was my first LA lover, and I had lots to learn about love and sex and how they aren't the same thing, especially in Los Angeles. So I agreed to go to Billy's house with everyone. Sherry and Brian were really hitting it off. All the girls kept telling me how into me Billy was, but I didn't care. I was pining away for the DJ. Billy's house was in the Hollywood Hills. The inside was really cozy. During the evening, Sherry and Brian began cuddling while Billy shared more of himself with me and my friends. He was from Oklahoma. He had a band. He was a real gentleman. He sang songs for us that he had written and songs from the radio. It was really cool. It was a great vibe. When he would leave the room, my friends would encourage me to talk to him. Two things were going on. I am not very aggressive, or I wasn't at the time at least. And while Billy was really sexy, smart, talented, and into me, even if just for the night, I was hung up on someone else. Sherry and Brian ended up sharing a bed that night while the girls and I stayed out in the living room. At 4 a.m., Billy went off to bed alone. My friends and I left around 7 a.m. On the ride home, Aubrey expressed her frustration with me pining away for the DJ while I was there with Billy. I felt lame. I was lame. I thought I was in love with the DJ. It was later that Aubrey pointed out to me all the TV shows and movies Billy had starred in, but it didn't matter, and I really thought I'd never see Billy again. Part 2. During the next few months, Sherry and Brian continued seeing each other. He had returned to Oklahoma, where he was from. He was a pilot and would visit Los Angeles often to see her. They were falling in love and struggled with the distance. Sherry would tell me that Billy said hello. I'd say hello back. I slowly fell out of obsession with the DJ. I liked that Billy was still thinking of me. One day, a couple of months later, I was at another very popular bar club with Leslie, a coworker of mine. She was known for sleeping with celebrities. I once helped her literally chase down a very well-known action star in my vehicle. She'd given him her number and he never called. So it was very awkward when we pulled up to him and she started asking him why he never called. Leslie happened to be the arch enemy of my roommate, Stephanie. When I didn't know why, anytime I would mention one to the other, they were disgusted. Turns out they'd both slept with and or dated a different TV star who I'd happened to have had a huge crush on in the 90s. Like, he was my number one crush. And I'm pretty sure a lot of girls did who watched his TV show. Now he's an adult, still on TV, still very cute, but he was the source of their beef. So back at this popular night spot, while I was ordering a drink, I saw Billy across the bar, staring at me. I went to him and hugged him. We engaged in small talk and big talk when we discussed Sherry and Brian, who by now were heavy into their love affair and in love. He was sexy, handsome, and still very quiet and modest, just as he had been the first night I met him, and it was comfortable. I was actually prepared to go for a second chance when Leslie walked up. She knew him. The air was instantly suffocating. Suddenly, I felt like I was standing in the middle of a breakup. She questioned how we knew each other. He really didn't have much to say to her. She gave him attitude. Me too. And I don't know what she said to make him say this, but he told her she and I are different, referring to us. Leslie and Billy had slept together. Los Angeles had just gotten way too small. The end.